Well, this is the first of the hay that we have knocked down for 2022. We're going to put corn in on this. It's a little light, but it was a little too heavy to plow under when the girls pulled in to plow this. This is Cropland Harv Extra alfalfa. It's a Harvatron. This is a herbicide resistant alfalfa. We didn't have it sprayed here last fall. There's a little bit of fescue coming up in it. We've got Jared right here with the 8120 and the 334 Oxbow merger. Looks like it's doing a pretty decent job. And then we've got Andrew coming in behind him with the 8320 and the 330 merger. Now this tractor here is the tractor that Jared did the engine on here over the winter. We had done some offset disking with it, did some disc ripping here recently with it, and Andrew has been spreading box stall manure with it up until this afternoon. So you can see this hay is a little light, but it's getting turned over to corn, so this is kind of a bonus crop, and I need to kind of keep the action in front of the camera this way because of the brightness of the sun here, and we're only going to be able to show you one side of the field here because the sun is starting to go down. It's almost 6:30 here on Memorial Day 2022, and as you can see, I'm sitting right there. They've just made one revolution around this field. We'll probably get some other shots of them here, but that's gonna probably about do it for the drone work just because of the brightness of the sun here. So we're gonna get into chopping this here tomorrow morning. We've got all the hay in Lafayette knocked down and on the ground. And we've got about 300 acres of corn left to put in. So we're in pretty good shape as far as having a fair amount of corn already in the ground. This is so bright on the screen here, I can't even really see. I can't even really see what is on this little phone screen here. They got a lot of glare. Well, this is going to be the first day for hay 2022. It's the last day of May. And we're going to go ahead and get started here. We've got to move up into Lafayette, and then we're going to have a go at it here. We did a lot of work to this head over the winter, and hopefully we don't have any problems, but everything should be pretty good here. Well, we just left the farm on our way to the field. We've got to travel about 9 miles or so east on 20 up into Lafayette. Had some drone footage here from last night that you see. That's going to be the first field that we're going to start chopping in, and we do plan on putting no-till corn in on that. We might turbo-till half of it and do a side-by-side comparison, comparing somewhat of a conventional till to no-till. It depends on how much rain we get tomorrow. If things are too wet, it's not really going to work for no-till, and we're going to want to till it up anyways, and we can get over the ground pretty fast with the Pottinger tool, and then that'll help things dry out faster too. Really the only reason why we would no-till it is so that we can just get it planted quickly here. But if we get some rain, it's going to rain us off from chopping hay here, so it depends on what the weather does here. Okay, here we go. This is the first load for 2022. And Sarah's getting loaded here first. Alright, so we are moving right along. I got a phone call right in while we were loading that first load. So now I'm loading everybody for the second go around here. And we're loading this Freightliner right now. Sarge is driving this. We did a lot of work to this truck over the winter. While we were chopping corn silage, we were about a third of the way in. And something happened to the transmission. So Jared ended up putting another transmission in it. It's got a, boy, I want to say it's a 9-speed. I don't think it's an 8LL. I forget which now. But it had a Super 10 in it before. And it was a little bit of a mongrel to drive. We only had a few guys that could handle driving it. Sarge, Tim, Nate, and Jared were the only ones that could handle it. So we switched this transmission around, put something in it that would shift a little more normal. And this is the first it has hauled anything since last fall. So Jared's gonna be coming up in behind Sarge here, and then Richard will be along with the new Moss trailer here in a little bit. Yes, this hay is too dry. It got away from us. We shouldn't have cut anything until yesterday. Usually when we get on this first crop of the year, being that it's heavy, we end up waiting a day or two for it to dry out. Well, with the ground conditions dry like they are, and this hay on its way out, we're gonna put corn here. The hay's a little light. So, we should have waited until yesterday to start cutting, but we started cutting on Sunday, and then we spent the day yesterday, Memorial Day, getting equipment moved around, mergers hooked up, blade on the tractor, went through the trucks for a final time, and we ended up having the Sterling truck go dead on the side of the road just a little while ago. Something's going on with that truck electrically, and it has got a little bit of a problem. So that's what the phone call was when I first started chopping here for today. So we've got about 400 and some acres of hay in this area to do. We'll be here for a couple of days anyways. We are supposed to get a little bit of rain here tomorrow, which I wish it would rain right now because this hay is a little too dry. Running right around 50% moisture. But that'll work good. We'll put it right on the bottom of the bunk. Put some wet stuff in the middle, and she'll be good. Chopper's working beautifully. We did a lot of work to the head, put all new pickup head tines on it, and bearings, cam follower bearings. Kaz ended up putting a new set of feed rolls in it. We weren't going to do that, but Jake talked me into it, so we ended up replacing the feed rolls again this year. We had put a set into it in the winter, and the last winter, ahead of last season, and that was the first set of feed rolls that we put in it. But we ended up gobbling up some stones here last year, and them softball-sized stones wreak havoc on the feed rolls. Jared just pulled out. He's loaded. We've got just a little bit left of a windrow in this field. And this next field that we have is above that wheat strip right there. We'll kind of talk about that in a second, but I don't know if you recall that video we did last year. I don't know if it was, I think I had it in a music video or something. But we had some trouble chopping the corn off on that side hill right there where we got wheat. And that's the last time the 900 was up in here, is when we chopped that. We had a heck of a time opening up that field. It was muddy. And that's the field where the 900 was on the side hill and he had to back up. He got hooked up into third gear and he just let it go. And that road tractor just kind of walked sideways on that side hill for a little bit. It was a pretty good shot. It would have been a better shot if we would have had that. You know, a little better camera placement, but I was doing all I could do just with the camera on the spout. I think I had it on the spout. Maybe it was on the side of the chopper. But this field here lays on quite a bit of a side hill, and what we did is we started off about the middle, and we started walking up across that sideways to get to the top side. And he had about a half a load on or so, and then we kind of had to load things a little differently just because it's steeper down on that other end there. So we've got wheat in on that now, and then when we harvest this off, we're going to seed this down. We're going to put corn on this piece that I just came off of here, and that's how we're going to deal with the rotation on this. We would have plowed these fields, we would have had them in the corn already, but when the girls came up to plow these fields, the hay was too tall. Sarah said, boy, this hay looks pretty good. I said, yeah, but it's gotta come out anyways, and if it's too big, just leave it. We'll chop it, take it off as feed, and we'll no-till corn into it. We might do a couple of test strips here. I think I spoke about that earlier. And we'll change my field here. We'll run the turbo till or the speed disc over it. So I gotta hit my pipe here, get that over into place, drop my head. Hopefully he can get going. We haven't put big tires on anything because of it being so dry, so we're running street tires. We should be able to get along pretty good, but it'll probably start raining next week sometime before we get done. We'll have to put big tires on everything. So this is the uppermost field here on this McVoy farm. The gentleman that used to own this farm has actually buried his ashes are buried over there on a like a rock hill. The big stone in that side hill there. We could probably dig it out, but his daughter had asked or requested that we not disturb that, so we're going to respect her wishes and leave that alone. So that tone that you heard was somebody checking in on our display here. Be one of the workers seeing where we're at as far as location goes. I have a coverage map on this page. I have our field name and number on the right side, and then I've got our constituents, or our moisture and protein and whatever readout on that other side there. So this hay isn't the greatest, like I said, but it is what it is. Well, we're loading Alex here right now. Just about got her loaded. And there is that rock pile that Mr. McVoy's ashes are dumped on. It's actually a huge piece of huge rock there. So I got to pay attention to things here, because we're bringing Alex up onto a little bit of a side hill here. And we need to have her cut to the left before it gets too steep. So we're gonna let her go that way, turn around, and then go out. Yeah, she's got enough of a load on. Gonna let her do a figure 8, and then when she crawls down that hill there, she won't be getting into this and trying to turn down the hill. You might run the risk of tipping over. So that little bit of sign language could have meant a couple different things. That could have meant go ahead and get up on the top side and get loaded, or go up on the top, gets turned around, and get squared up so you're not on such a side hill. And that's what she's doing. I thought she was going to go up and get topped off. You're good. We don't need to be tipping any trucks over. Not on the first day anyway. This truck number 8, that got tipped over a couple of years ago, and it wasn't last winter, but it was the winter before. I ended up working on that truck for quite a little while, putting it all back together. How about 4 days into doing corn silage back in I don't know if it was 2019 or if it was 2020. One of the guys was coming through 13 curves a little too fast and flopped her over on Dead Man's Corner. Tipped it over on its side and emptied a whole load of corn silage right into the creek. The next day we had to go over and shovel all the silage out of the creek. And no, the driver was not there or present to help shovel the silage out of the creek. It took us about 4 hours, I think it was, to shovel everything up. We actually had to handle everything by hand. We could not get a machine down in there. It was prohibited anyways, because it's a tributary to Onondaga Creek, and heaven forbid you damage a trout stream, you know. So yeah, so we'll just keep plugging away here. We'll join up with you once Richard gets here with the Moss trailer, the new one, and we'll get some video footage of that being loaded. Tim's driving this truck, truck 8. comes my brother with the new Moss trailer. It's gonna be the first time loading it here. Boy, they are a nice trailer. I'll get you an inside view what that looks like. Got a camera on the spout so we can see right into the bed of the trailer there. And we'll use automatic fill on this one. See, the camera that's on the spout comes through on this screen that's in the chopper here. That's a handy thing to use for like opening up a field or something. So we'll set you guys over on the other side of the cab here and I'll get her loaded. Alright, there goes the first load on the red Moss trailer. We're done with this field. Now we're going to move down to the next farm, which is the Morris farm, which is right across the road. And we've got two pieces up on this other side of that same farm that we're going to chop off and flip it over to corn. This next couple of fields that we're going to be going into is new seeding. That's a little light just because it's the first time it's been cut. It was something that we seeded down here the end of last summer. We had some winter kill. We did get into it a little bit with the grain drill. Had to reseed some, but that seeding, we won't see that until next cutting. That it's there. It's about that big right now. So we'll catch up with you once we jump over on the other side of the road. We've got Sarah on deck here. This farm here, we can either go in down by the barn, or we can go in and out right here. We had to make this trail here through the woods, and then we end up going out the last piece that's on this property. Go travel alongside the field, and we can get right back out on the road. It's quicker to go this way than it is to go all the way across the fields. So we're a little rough going through this woods trail here, but that's the beauty of these Moss trailers. They're built a lot tougher than the other ones that are on the market, and they can handle going through these rough areas. We've got a lot of water that runs down through there, and what we need to do is we need to get over here with a bulldozer and shape this a little bit. This did used to go down in through here. We had it hook around like that and come out through, but we ended up coming over here and cleaning this whole area out. Now we've got a straight shot, and because it's a straight shot, once in a while we get a lot of water that runs down through where we're driving right now, and it creates some washout spots. Ideally, it'd be nice to have 2 foot of gravel in here. There's a spot right here. We should have been a little closer to him as he walked through this one little hole here. Kind of a rough spot. We should get some gravel up in here. We've got wheat here and there. This field here's a real booger to chop. Got power lines going across the field in two different spots. We got them running all the way across the field, and then we've got one line that runs off of that third pole over, and it goes down to that house that's sitting there. We were over here chopping corn last year, and that guy was cleaning up some stuff around his house, and he thought he could get his rollback in along his side lawn, and he got it stuck, so he was struggling with it. We were pulling trucks in and out of the lot, and I had a gap in trucks. I went over there and I pulled that, I don't know if it's that rollback that he's got parked there or if it was a different one, but we ended up having to pull it out of his lawn for him. So we've got new seeding on the other side of the road here. We've got, what do we got, four pieces to do, and then we'll be into the older seeding that we're going to flip over to corn. This is the Morris property here. We got Mr. Morris mowing lawn right now. Well, we're moving right along here. At any point, I'm gonna start plugging. It's gumming up the pipe here pretty good. We're into some alfalfa that's pretty good and heavy, and it's right at that, it's like 58% moisture. And it is gumming everything up. Chopper's making some weird noises. And I'm afraid that once we start plugging, we're gonna be plugging for a while. So we're loading Jared right now. We've got, let's see, we got the other tractor trailer here behind us here somewhere. See it back there. We've got Tim over, he's on deck. And we ended up coming off of, we started way over there on the other side of the stretch of trees and whatever here. And we're making our way. Alright, so we spoke too soon here. I just ended up plugging, filling Jared up, and now we're going to put water on the windrow. I'm actually setting the shear bar right now. Sometimes that helps. I'd like to sharpen the knives, but I do not like sharpening the knives this far into the day, worrying about catching the chopper on fire here. I've done that before. So I'll let these guys get set up here. They're going to sprinkle water on the windrow. We've done this before. And we'll get it cleaned out. Alright, so we'll take it nice and slow. Let some water get introduced into the chopper here. I've had this happen before where it just plugs right away until you get that water introduced into the chopper here to get some of that stuff loosened up so that it can clean it out. That pump that's on the back of that trailer is brand new. I just bought that the other day. The one that we had last year was wore out. Picked that up at Harbor Freight for like bucks or something, 220 bucks. I like that metal frame style pump like that. It allows us to strap it down on the back of the didn't work. So we'll crawl in underneath it, dig it out again, and then start all back over. Alright, we just got fired back up, so we need to get some material, wet material through this chopper. And sometimes you just have to go through what we're going through in order to get it cleaned out. Alright, we've gone through about a third of what water they have, and we're gonna see if this will last us for a while. There's a pond across the road. They're getting some hard suction hose that'll give us the ability to reload that tank, because we're gonna need water, more water than that to get done with this here. So the fun has begun. We started on the hill over there earlier, and this field here, we seeded this down in 2020, and then it was so dry here in the summer of 2020 that we actually came in and reseeded this down last spring. So this is doing really good. We ended up having to do a little bit of reseeding this spring on some seedings that we seeded down last year, and I had some comments, you know, you can't reseed alfalfa. Well, you can if you are within a 12-month window of when you originally planted it. And both last spring and this spring, we were seeding ground that was only about 9 months old. So we're going to pay attention to things here and see if we can't get moving along. Let these guys wet things down here in a little while again, and we'll try to keep this thing cleaned out. Well, we got this field done, plugged it twice, watered it 3 times, and Sarge is over at Denny's place across the road. He's filling the water tank out of one of his hydrants. Jared is grabbing some hard hose from back at the barn. There is a pond over there, and we're not sure if we can get close enough to that pond and draft out of the pond, suck water out of it with the pump, reload the tank so that we have it for the rest of today, so we have water. I'd rather, it's best to use more water than you need than not use enough. So Alex ended up planting her truck right in this wet hole here. I was on the phone. She forgot that she don't have flotation tires on, and she done planted her truck. We must have a tile line or something broke here, because that's the only spot in the field that's wet. And it's on a side hill. Looks like it's easy enough to fix. And maybe we'll have to get over and get it fixed. So we've got one little wad of hay up there to grab, and then we'll get her pulled out and grab that. First stuck of the year right here. You forgot all of your driving techniques. Well, you don't have your mud tires on there. And what you need to do, you need to hammer on it. Put it right to the floor. I was on the phone with Sarge, and I just didn't have time to, you know. She come out this way a little bit, and we had the mud tires on there, it would have done it. So this guy, he broke his merger. Them guys are supposed to be checking to see if we have a spindle. So we broke that same spindle off on the other one 2 years ago. Remember that? So, well, we'll go ahead and dig this chain out. I don't know if I can handle this chain. It's all rusty. If anything else, this was just a training exercise so that we know how to hook on to this truck. This truck does not have any grab hooks yet.
The one where we got it up on Oak Hill.
Yeah. So we could have waited for Jared to get over here. Jared could have pulled it out. So don't go out on the road right now. Drive around the field, get them tires to clean out. We're gonna go up on the corner up there. All right. Okay, don't you get stuck now. Yeah. All right, we are on the Mahar farm now. We just got done chopping on the Ainger farm next door, and the boys are just getting the water trailer filled. They ended up sucking some water out of the pond with the trash pump to fill the tank. Now, we weren't chopping across the road. We emptied the tank out over there, emptied out another tank full on the other side of the hedgerow there, and now we are in pretty good shape. Things are pretty well cleaned out for now. We'll run another little while here, and then we'll have to introduce a little more water to it. Well, what a day. We've had a few events here anyways. We've got a broken spindle on this merger here. Now, I know a lot of you have come to this video because of the thumbnail, and we're gonna burn that down tomorrow. I mean, we're gonna talk about that in tomorrow's video. So that's gonna do it, folks. Take it easy, and we will catch you at the next one.